Hey guys, TKC here with another episode of Kaijo News, and it was a bombshell announcement. You know, they keep on saying they're going to be blowing our minds, and well, they just kind of did with this January announcement. So the major announcement out of all these news on the website is the fact that we're going to get formats. So what is a format, you may ask? And well, if you come from Magic the Gathering, or maybe even other games like Pokemon, well, it's this thing called a set rotation, and basically every year we have a different set of cards that we are allowed to use in tournaments. So if you guys come from Yu-Gi-Oh! Or you're also playing Kaijudo right here, right now how it is we're just going to have set after set after set, and then what they would be doing is they would be, banning cards left and right that are causing, problems in the metagame at tournaments and stuff like that. And it would just, kind of go really, really slow like this, and then all of a sudden there'd be so many good cards and there'd be too much power creep. Basically, it just turns into this kind of weird, different kind of game where everyone's trying to beat everyone. Everyone's trying to be more powerful than the next, and stuff like that. So, Wizards of the Coast decided to convert their strategy into what they use for Magic the Gathering. So, two formats we're going to have right now are Standard and Open. These are the two formats that are going to be, used in tournaments, but mostly Standard, but that doesn't mean Open is going to be left out. So if you wanted to do a direct comparison with Magic the Gathering, it would basically be the equivalent of Standard and Vintage. So Standard format is basically going to be like this. This format is going to include all the cards from the current block of this year, as well as the previous year's block. So now you may be wondering, what is a block exactly? And well, that's basically all the sets that release in like a certain time frame, basically a year, but not exactly like January to December, but like a certain point of the year to another part of the year. So we have two blocks right now in Kaijudo. We have Rise Block and we have the Clash Block. And Rise Block basically consists of Rise of the Duel Masters, Evo Fury, Dragon Strike Infernus, and then also like the things that came before and in the middle, so Battle Decks, Dojo Edition, and also the Dragon Master Collection Kit. Now Clash Block is pretty much Clash of the Duel Masters, Triple Strike, Shattered Alliances, Invasion Earth, and then the 5 Mystics, which is coming out in March. However, Triple Strike isn't actually a part of the Clash block as it seems, because in the article they said that the Clash block will consist of these sets, which are Clash, Shattered Alliances, Invasion Earth, Booster Brawl. I forgot about Booster Brawl, but that's another one. The 5 Mystics, and also all of the promos of Year 2. So if you look at the bottom of your card, it would say Y2 PRM, which stands for Year 2 promos. And then the next block, which is going to be happening after Clash Block, which they already revealed is Gauntlet Block, but now they revealed its true name, which is Quest for the Gauntlet Block. That first set is actually going to be called Quest for the Gauntlet. That's going to be the first set of the Gauntlet Block. And then they also said all 13 PRM cards. So this is going to be kind of different from previous years where they had Year 1 promo, Year 2 promo. I think they're going to convert it so that the promos match the block number. So it's going to be all promos that are released when the Quest for the Gauntlet is the latest set will be called 13 PRM, because the code for Quest for the Gauntlet is 13, GA1, Gauntlet 1, basically. So that's pretty much it for Standard. So basically what's going to happen is once the next block releases, and they announce that this block is going to be called Anvil Block, basically all the Clash Block cards and sets and stuff will be switched out, and the Anvil Block will come into play. Just like Magic the Gathering and other card games, it's basically how it works. So just to be clear, Standard, you are not allowed to use these sets, and that is Battle Decks, 1 TBR, 2 DED, which is Dojo Edition, 3 Rise, which is Rise of the Duel Masters, the base set for Rise Block, 4 Evo Fury, 5 DRA, which is the Dragon's Master Collection Kit, 6 DSI, Dragon Strike Infernus, which is probably the best set to be rotated out because of how powerful that set was. And then in addition to that, you can't forget Triple Strike, which also kind of came into play after Clash came out, but this is considered to be part of the Rise block apparently, so Triple Strike is not allowed. And then lastly, the Year 1 promos. You cannot use those, which are codename Y1 PRM. However, you can use all those sets. Pretty much every set in existence will be allowed in open format, which is pretty much the same thing as Vintage and Magic the Gathering, because Vintage, you're allowed to use all cards in the game except for the restricted cards, which are all limited to 1. If you were playing Legacy, which is another format in Magic the Gathering, you can't use any of those restricted cards. Those are just gone and you can't play them. So that's why I say open format in Kaijudo is a lot like Magic's Vintage, because you're allowed to play one of each banned card, or retired card, should I say, in Kaijudo in the open format. So, the thing that's really interesting about this whole change is that once Summer Championships happens, which is in June 14th, the set, Quest for the Gauntlet, comes out May 30th. And when that set comes out, this set rotation thing will come into play, and boom, you can't use all those old cards that I mentioned. So basically, for the KMCs, we're sticking with the format that we have now, but then once the first set of Gauntlet comes out, boom, no more old cards, and you have to quickly adapt because the championships is just 2 weeks after that. So a lot of you may be thinking, oh, set rotations, this sucks. That means that, you know, every year I have to completely change my decks and stuff like that. Yeah, that's one bad side of it, is that you can't really stick to the deck that you really loved in one block or one, you know, format. You have to constantly switch. But I think that's the whole fun of the whole set rotation thing, is that the game gets kind of stale with that rotation. You know, year after year, the same cards come out, or the same cards are doing well, and people want change. You know, people are like, oh, I'm so tired of Andromeda, oh, I'm so tired of Haven, oh, I'm so tired of Finbar. You know, all these problem cards are eventually going to get rotated out, and then new cards are going to come in. So, you know, every year there's going to be something exciting, but also something new, and give, you know, certain decks a chance when they didn't in the previous block, or something like that. And I know a lot of people are giving the excuse that they have to, like, you know, invest, you know, year by year. And I personally find that to be kind of untrue, because if you're going to be supporting the game and you really love the game, you are going to be getting the new set every time it comes out. So if that's the case, what does rotation really do to you? It doesn't really affect you too much, because you're buying the sets anyway, so there's really not much going on there. And then for casual players, well, they're not really concerned with tournaments, and so this whole thing doesn't affect them at all, and they can do whatever they want with their cards. The only downside I see is for maybe, I guess, competitive young kids who open packs from, I guess, older sets and like, ooh, this card's awesome, but like they don't know that you can't use it. But then again, Pokemon has the same issue, and, you know, a bunch of kids from around the world order Pokemon packs just because it's Pokemon. So, you know, let those kids enjoy that, and I'm sure the ones who want to join tournaments and stuff will figure out eventually that you can't use those cards, sadly. So this is a problem that, you know, is already going on in very successful games, and so it shouldn't really be a problem in Kaijudo, and we should embrace the fact that Kaijudo is going in the direction of a game, or many games, that are actually doing well right now. So, you know, Magic the Gathering and Pokemon are doing very, very well, you know, both sales-wise and tournament-wise and stuff like that. So I don't see the problem with, you know, kind of going down the same path, since they're very successful, and, well, Kaijudo could just end up being just as successful if it follows the same kind of strategies. So I guess that kind of just sums up my opinion of the whole thing. I personally really, really like it. It keeps the format fresh every year. As sad as, you know, your favorite pet decks are leaving the format, you know, you could still enjoy it in open format. And, you know, every format is going to be more exciting with new decks and, you know, new strategies and stuff like that. So I'm very, very excited for that. Now, there was another big announcement they made, and this is very interesting, because basically with these two announcements, Kaijudo is basically leaning so much towards Magic the Gathering, it's not even funny. So what they've been doing with booster packs right now is that there are only 9 cards plus a code card, which doesn't really count, but there's 9 cards inside of each booster pack. Now, in Magic the Gathering, they have 14 cards, not counting the land, there's 14, and it's very good for them because they can draft using only 3 packs. Whereas in Kaijudo right now, we've had the problem where since it's 9, you have to go and invest 4 or 5 packs to do a draft, and that's, you know, not really cost effective. You know, it costs around $20 to $25 to do that, and it's not really effective, whereas in Magic, it's only like $15 to do a draft because there's only 3 packs. So basically what Wizards of the Coast has done is they started with 9 cards per booster to kind of just, you know, see what's going on, see if the game is catching on, see if it's good the way it is, just to, you know, basically get some stats, just to kind of, you know, research what's going on with the game if they leave it like that. But then as the organized play kind of grew and grew, and the community, especially the competitive community, grew, they decided to kind of make a change that was sort of necessary. So basically, what they have done is they pretty much copied the Magic strategy for this as well, and they're going to be going with 14 cards per pack, and I guess plus a code card if they're still doing that thing, but we're not sure. So, since Kaijudo has followed this same kind of pack strategy as well, that means that limited play is going to be fully supported. They basically said inside this article that now you'll be able to draft Kaijudo with 3 packs. And so for set premieres, which is the sealed format where we had to open 5 packs or sometimes 6 packs, it varies. But in this article, they actually said 6, which is interesting because the last few set premieres, they've only done 5. So I guess they're going to be upping it back to 6. Or maybe keeping it at 5. I think now with 14 cards per pack, I think 5 is actually a good number now, whereas the multi-civ sets we were doing before with 5 packs was actually very bad. So at 6 packs with 14 cards per pack, I think that's a little bit insane. Might have to increase the deck count to 40 cards, but right now it's probably just 30. But we'll see how that goes. Right now, they didn't want to, specify too many details on set premiere, so they're going to be announcing that, sometime in the future, and we'll get an idea of what set premieres will look like with these new 14-card booster packs. So what's really interesting about this is the fact that they're recognizing limited as a format, and also they said at Winter Champs at the panel that there will be some sort of limited KMCs in the future, potentially, or some sort of at least limited event. So that means that maybe, just maybe, I'm just putting this out there, that, these championships, if they're going to be a lot like the Pro Tours in Magic, they might actually slot some limited into there or something like that. But, there are also KMCs or maybe some other kind of organized play tournament that they're going to do where it's going to be dedicated to just limited, sealed, or draft or whatever. So it's very interesting to see where this goes since, they're officially recognizing draft and sealed as a very fun format and a very competitive one at that. So expect to see those kinds of events in the future. I don't know how near in the future, but we will get it at some point, which is really, really cool. A lot of people are very excited about that. So with that said, I've got some work to do because I kind of wasn't really expecting set rotations at all. So my website was kind of not designed for, set rotation. So I'm going to have to keep that in mind, and I'm going to have to update my database eventually so that it matches this new format thing, so that when you search, it only searches for cards that are legal in standard format, or, you just search for all cards, so you can see which ones you can use in open format. Thankfully, this isn't happening until May 30th, which is, a long way to go, a good, 4 months away, so I have time to actually develop this, but for now, I think it's fine the way it is, although I could see some slight improvements here and there. I've gotten some feedback from some awesome people out there on the internet for some cool ideas to add to the site, so thank you all very much for that. I'll be looking into it and trying to get that set up for you guys, and in addition to that, I have a really cool feature coming to the site very soon, and like I said before in previous videos, I believe I mentioned that this is going to be geared towards KMC competitors. This is basically, you want to find a deck list, you want to find which cards or decks are doing well. Well, this feature, or features I should say, are going to be very awesome for you guys, so stay tuned on this YouTube or on my Facebook or on my Twitter. I'm going to be, posting updates here and there, and potentially as soon as next week, I might actually have something up and running, or at least a preview to show you guys what is going to be going on with this site. So Kaijudo-Channel.com is the website if you want to go check it out. It's right there in the description, right there on the bottom of the video. So with that, guys, I have a question for you, and I'm sure a lot of people are discussing this on the dojo right now, but basically, what do you guys think about this set rotation? I know a lot of people have very mixed opinions on this. It seems like a lot of people are actually embracing this, and a lot of people are really happy about this, but there are a select few that, don't agree with this at all. But I kind of want to see both sides of the argument. I want to see why you don't think rotation is good, or why you think rotation is awesome, etc., etc. Just let me know in the comments below. Let's get a discussion going. I'm curious to see what you guys think. But with all that said, this is TKC, the Kaijudo channel, signing off from this crazy week of news. Alright guys, have a great day. See you later.